Okay, this picture graph has got a little bit something extra in it. If we look up here, we see where it says use a half symbol. And we see that down here in our key. Remember we talked about in the other video how important a key is in our picture graph. And this picture graph today is about our favorite dessert. So people were asked a favorite dessert. There would have been a tally mark done. They would have put that in a frequency table with the numbers so that you would be able to then put your information onto this picture graph. Remember, we're just practicing reading them right now. Later on, we'll practice making them. And so it is showing us here that half of a picture stands for half of the value of the whole picture. And it gives you the example that one smiley face equals 2 students, which means that half a smiley face would only be 1 student. You come over here, and you're not always going to have a half. There's only one time on this whole graph where we see a half. So let's look. It says how many students chose a cupcake. So if I come down here to my cupcakes, okay, I found cupcake and the smiley faces that go with it. I'm going to count by 2 because that's what it tells me. So this would be 2, 4, 6, 8, but I can't go all the way up to 10 because I only have half. So that's only going to count as 1 because it's half. Now it tells us that right here, but it won't always tell us that over in the key. That's just something we're going to have to know to do if we ever see a half somewhere. So we counted by 2s like we just showed right there. We had 2, 4, 6, and then we got all the way to 8. So that means that we had the 8 using the whole smiley faces. And then we had the 1/2, which stands for only 1 student, which means is that we have a total of 9 students that chose a cupcake as their favorite dessert. Now, if we look at this page, again, we go straight. Let's make this a little smaller so we can see the whole thing. Set up so I can draw on it for you. Okay, so when I look here, I see that it says favorite camp activity. I see the activity and I see the number of students that chose that activity as their favorite camp activity. I see down here in my key that each one of those sunshines equals 6 students. So if I've got 6 students for a whole thing, I see real quick that I have a half of a sun. So if I know that the whole thing has 6 students, it's kind of like saying I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I cut that in half down the middle, I'm going to have 3 on each side. So that lets me know that for half of a sun picture is only going to be for 3 students. So if I look up here at my actual question, which I didn't even look at until I went over and looked at the information on my graph so that I knew what I was talking about, what was going on. The students who went to summer camp voted for their favorite activity. Which 2 activities received a total of 39 votes? So this has several things that it's wanting us to do right here. First of all, we're looking at 2 activities. So I would have to go through and take these different activities and look and see how much all of them were. And then it says a total. So see these plus signs down here? Total is adding my things together. So it says down here, votes for biking and hiking, votes for hiking and boating, votes for biking and boating, fishing and hiking. So you see that that's the choices we have up here: biking, hiking, hiking, boating, biking, boating, and fishing and hiking. So we need, it says, what do we need to find? What do we need to look at first? Well, I need to know how many did each one first. So I'm going by 6 students. So I see, this is like our counting by sixes. This is where knowing multiplication will help us make things really easier later on. I see a 1, 2, 3 whole circles, and then whole sunshines, and then I see half of a sunshine. So each one of these are going to be 6. So if I were to come over here, I've got 1 6, 2 6s, 3 6s, and that's not a whole one. That's just a half one. So that is just a 3. So I'm going to need to take and add all of those up. So 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 6 is 18. And 18 plus 3 is 21. So we've just saw that biking, see if I can make that a little neater. Biking is 21. Okay, so I'll come over here and next I have hiking. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 whole complete ones. So that would be 6. Remember when we did times 4s? That's where multiplication would come in really good. Okay, I have 4 groups of 6. And we've talked about that 6 plus 6 is 12. So this would be 12. 12 plus 12 is 24. So our hiking, we're going to have 24. Okay, next would be boating. I have 1, 2, 3 of them. Well, I know that 2 6s, because we've talked about this before, 2 6s is 12. And then we have another 6, line up my place value. And I put that together and I have 18. Okay. Now I look down here at fishing, I see a whole sunshine, which is 6, and a half, which is 3. So we can put those together. 6 plus 3 is 9. So now I need to come down here and I need to look at the different numbers that it's wanting me to do. This one wants me to look at biking and hiking, and I'm looking for the one that has 39 votes. So if I look at biking and hiking, I see that that's going to be 21 plus 24. So that's, and then I see hiking and boating. So hiking is 24. And I look at boating and it's 18. Biking and boating. So biking is 21. And boating is 18. Now our last choice, fishing and hiking. So fishing was 9. Put that together with hiking. I look up there and hiking is 24. So then I would come over here and we would add each of these up to find out which one would end up being 39. So if we come over here, 21 plus 24. This is like some of our freckle problems. We have to do several steps. Ones place first. 1 plus 4 is 5, and 2 plus 2 is 4. So I get 45. Is that my magic number? Nope, my magic number is 39. So I can mark off biking and hiking. Okay, so now let's look at B, hiking and boating. We came up with the numbers 24 plus 18. 4 plus 8 is 12, so I get to carry my 1. Add up my tens place, I get 42, not the magic number of 39. So we'll mark it off. Next we see biking and boating, which we come down here was 21 plus 18. And I see 1 plus 8 is 9, and 2 plus 1 is 3. And look, there is my magic number that goes with biking and boating. But we're going to go ahead and add fishing and hiking too down here, just to make sure we didn't mess up somewhere and to get some practice. Now we have to make sure our place values are lined up. And I do 4 plus 9 is 13. Now I have 33, which of course wasn't our magic number. So the two activities that received a total of 39 votes was biking and boating. And we wouldn't have been able to have figured any of that out if we had not have been able to look up here and find the information that our picture graph gave us.